What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about the road to BlizzCon 2019. There's been a lot of news that's come out of Blizzard Entertainment recently. Activision had their earnings report yesterday. We'll take a quick glance at that. There's a lot going on that's leading up to the future of Blizzard Entertainment, and as a fan of Blizzard Entertainment, I feel like this video has to be made. Before I get into all the details, though, if you like this kind of content, please consider commenting, rating, and subscribing to my channel. It does help me out quite a bit. But enough about that. Let's talk about Blizzard Entertainment. It's no surprise, or no secret, I should say, that Blizzard Entertainment's BlizzCon 2018 was an absolute bust, and an event that is supposed to bring together fans and reinvigorize the base of us PC master racers who have been supporting Blizzard Entertainment since many moons ago. That event was really turned on its head by some very questionable decisions the company has made, some very questionable announcements the company has made, and over the last year, support for Blizzard Entertainment as a whole has rapidly dropped off. Now, this is prevalent in seeing numbers of how many people log into the Battle.net services, how many active viewers there are on Overwatch League Sports, how many people are currently playing a game, queue times, that sort of thing. So it's not like I'm just making this up and saying, oh, well, the court of popular opinion has determined that this company is bad. But these are, in fact, backed by actual metrics and actual numbers to prove what I am saying. I'm not going to go into all that, but I think it's safe to say for anybody who's casually aware of what's going on with Blizzard Entertainment right now, things aren't looking good. But as I did mention in a video a few days ago, gamers are finicky creatures, and we do have a tendency to love and hate. There are always extremes. It never seems to be it's okay. It's either the greatest thing or the worst thing. And unfortunately right now for Activision-Blizzard, and leading into BlizzCon 2019, the pendulum has definitely swung right now into this is the worst thing that's going on right now. So recall that at BlizzCon 2018, we got the Diablo Immortal announcement. We got the announcement that Halo Championship. I wish it was Halo Championship Series. That got canceled as well. Heroes Championship Series, the HCS, was being disbanded. There was going to be no more Heroes tournaments. Heroes of the Dorm was going away. So they really pulled out a lot of support over that. And it just, you look at these tentpole franchises, those are just two that just wasn't really looking good. You know, it wasn't looking good for these guys. So you kind of put that in the back of your mind. Wasn't a good year, a lot of negativity. We move on. Now we're actually seeing the financial aspect of things, and that's what I wanted to talk about here. So we had the earnings report that was released yesterday, and there's a lot of things from analysts who know way more about this stuff than I do, but at a high level, I do understand it. A lot of analysts have been looking through this, and they're saying, you know, the outlook doesn't look good. Now, the reason why the outlook is so important for any of these things, and I'm not picking on Blizzard, just in general, is investors are very finicky, just like gamers are. And if it sounds like it's going to go bad and you've invested a significant portion of your own money to fund this company and it's not a sure hit, fire, guaranteed success, you're going to pull your money out. It just makes sense. A lot of these people aren't just giving money to Blizzard like, hey, you know, if you lose all my money, it's okay, but at least you tried, right? No, nobody's doing that. And you're only as good as tomorrow, and tomorrow has to be better than today. And great, you earned a lot of revenue last year. That's awesome. But if you can't earn even more next year, I'm leaving and I'm going to find somebody else that will. So even though the metrics overall seem to look good, there are some negative trends that are coming up, and you're starting to see a lot of concern in the growth, particularly in the Overwatch League, where Blizzard has sunk a significant amount of their staff and their funding to build up that league. And even though viewership numbers were up, I think they say here, active viewers increased by a single-digit percentage, which is good. They said that the viewing numbers could have been better. And I know you read some of these numbers and you say, well, geez, it says here that the Overwatch League viewership hours was up by 20%, which should be good. But the analyst here says, well, the fact that they added 8 new teams last year, those numbers aren't actually good. And what it actually means is people are watching less. There are more people watching less. And that's a concern. You want to build up these hype moments, and that's how you get these super mega cards that UFC has figured out how to do so well. That's how you get these insane draws from events like WrestleMania and stuff, where you're building up the hype, and people are watching more and more, not less and less. So as an investor, you're seeing that and you're thinking, okay, we did good last year, but it seems overall we're not growing at the rate that we should. And I know it's convoluted. It sounds like they're doing good, but from an investor's perspective, they're not. So that's an important distinction. And I think you have to keep that in the back of your mind as you start thinking about some of the other things that Blizzard is saying. So they announced Diablo Immortal last year, and nobody's excited for it. The mobile game looks like it's not going to take off. People are not happy about it. People have done some data mining and found that it's an old port of some other mobile game from Japan or China or somewhere over on that side of the world. And people are like, well, this isn't the Diablo experience we were promised. We want a proper Diablo. Then there's people like me who are fans of Heroes of the Storm, very slighted that our beloved franchise, the Blizzard All-Stars game, has been completely gutted. Even my dog digging on her bed, she is agitated as well as we are. So there was the new Blizzard president, Allen Brack, who has replaced Mike Morhaime that we all championed, said a few things. And this is where I really feel like we're starting to see a new shift into the Blizzard entertainment. They're doubling down on the promises they made last year, and I think it's alienating fans like me even more so. So they talked a lot about, that even though that they had their first quarter earnings last year, there seems to be a general consensus that things aren't working out so well. And he had this to say. He said, it's a topic important for everyone, and it's super important for me personally. I am, the Blizzard pipeline is now larger and richer than ever before. They've dabbled in PC and in console gaming, which is something that they used to only focus on PC, so they're getting some extra revenue there. The Diablo 3 port for the Nintendo Switch was wildly successful. So they are seeing some revenue streams there. This is where I noticed, this is where it really caught a red flag to me. It includes ongoing content for World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and a couple of mobile initiatives. It's critical that all these products meet the Blizzard quality that we're known for. We want to give the teams the space to create excellence and release the games at a better and that are better and more consistent, right? He also goes on to say that they're looking forward to BlizzCon next year, or this year rather, November 1st, 2019. And there's a lot of news and stuff that they want to reveal then. But this is the part that I really focused on here, was this particular line. You see no mention of some of the other franchises that we love. You don't see StarCraft listed here. You don't see Diablo listed here. You don't see Heroes of the Storm listed here. Now, you could say, well, geez, not even actually traditional Warcraft outside the Warcraft 3 Remastered. So you see that they're starting to kind of back certain franchises and they're dumping other ones. Does that mean we'll never see a StarCraft game again? Does that mean we'll never see another Diablo game again? Probably not. And this might be a play on them building up the anticipation for these bombshell announcements. But as they say, these games take time, and there's always that Blizzard soon trademark thing that they love to say, and basically it's their mantra that games will release when they're ready. Now, it's been clear through the mass amount of layoffs that they've had that Activision doesn't like that. Activision wants annual releases because Activision's big franchise comes out every year, right? So it's not like Blizzard Entertainment is going to get to be independent of that. They're going to have to be forced into that. So you're entering a market space now where the fans already hate you. Mike Morhaime's left. He was dearly beloved. It doesn't matter who replaces him. People are already upset. Your big announcement, something you're supposed to be really proud of, was a Blizzard mobile game, which nobody wants. And the things that have made your company successful are not things you're actively pursuing. Words go a long way, and I recall last year during E3 when during the EA press conference when they cut to Vincent Piniella of Respawn Entertainment, and they just sat down with him really quickly. I think Andrea Renee was hosting, and she said, "Hey, so what are you working on, Vince?" And he goes, "Hey, we got a new Star Wars game coming out. We'll tell you about it later." And nobody saw anything. The fans were immediately like, "Oh my God, what a big tease! What a waste of time! They're not working on anything. They have nothing to show." But the investors, the ones who matter, were like, ooh, a Star Wars game, and this coincides with the Star Wars movie coming out, and their brain starts going and their money starts flowing. That's the important thing. So when these kind of announcements come out and they're immediately downvoted to hell, investors who don't understand gaming the way we do look to these social media trends, look to the actual metrics of the Battle.net launcher, look to see how many people are playing World of Warcraft, look to see how many hours people are logging into Overwatch. And seeing this kind of announcement, it's safe to say they are pulling out their money. What does that mean? Less money for Blizzard to work, less money for development time, more of a rush game. And ultimately, it's a self-feeding negative cycle. You have to rush something out with less resources, with less time to try to basically stop the hemorrhaging, but Blizzard doesn't operate like that. Blizzard takes time and quality in what they do, for the most part. I mean, that's debatable on some of their previous launches, but I digress. My point is this. BlizzCon 2019, I really feel, is a make or break for Blizzard Entertainment. All eyes are going to be on this. They really need to show the world that they've learned from their mistake in the past of going purely mobile. Even though they announced it here, they have a couple of mobile initiatives. I don't think that's what the fans want to see, and clearly that's not what the investors want to see. So could they completely redefine their company? Yes. Could they say, hey, we were traditionally based in PC-based and console-based, enriching experiences, but now we've shifted and we're 100% going over to a totally new mobile market. The fans that made us, we don't care about you anymore. There are more fans over here. Yes, they can do that. Konami is a perfect example of this. Konami has absolutely abandoned their console game market in exchange for the mobile variants and all of those gambling machines that they have over on the other side of the world. And they are still successful. Konami is still a very successful company. Totally different fan base. The Konami I grew up with as a child is not the Konami that exists today, but they're successful. And we may see a radical shift in what Blizzard Entertainment means to people in the years to come. But I warn them that the loyal fans like me, the ones who care, the ones who are going to buy the collector edition, who are going to adorn their game rooms with Blizzard Entertainment merchandise and all of these cute but deadlies I have scattered across my desk, we're the fans that are willing to forgive you and say, you know what? You made a mistake, come back, all is forgiven. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, gamers are a finicky bunch. But when you shift your entire culture to something else and it is not well received, and you're trying to compete with other mobile markets and other mobile franchises, you're not going to get that loyalty. You're just going to be another company. And while products do speak for themselves, the truth is people are more willing to stick to things that they know. And that's where I get really worried about BlizzCon. It's this perfect storm right now. It's this crossroads of, do we go with the old faithful or do we go with the new stuff? The amount of layoffs that they've had and the fact that the company definitely is being forced to downsize on existing projects like Heroes of the Storm, which is essentially a dead game now, is really indicative that they are aware of this and they are really refining resources and backing just a few horses now. The question is, are these the right horses? That's the question that I have. And I think everybody's going to be much more interested in this BlizzCon than in previous BlizzCons on the past to see if they can actually rectify the situation or if they're going to put themselves at more of a detriment going into the future. So I'm very excited for this, and when BlizzCon approaches, definitely I'll have a video talking about it, and you will start to see if they can change everybody's opinion radically. Bethesda's definitely going through that struggle right now after the Fallout 76 debacle, then turning around, showing off some new Doom gameplay, showing off the new Doom Slayer program. So companies can redefine themselves. As I mentioned, there's a lot of good examples here, but is Blizzard one of these companies, and is it something they really want to do? So if you guys thought this video was interesting, leave a comment below. Let me know if you liked it, you didn't like it. What are your thoughts on this? Seems that these videos are definitely controversial. People come here to hate. I am not here to hate. I'm here to say that I love Blizzard Entertainment. I spent many, many years in college playing through Diablo 2. I mean, that game really got me through school. I really did love it. I spent a lot of time with it. So they're very near and dear to my heart. It's just sad that they're changing in a way that I don't agree with. If it's successful for them and it makes sense for them, then maybe it's something they want to consider. But I want to hear from you guys. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.